Chapter 21. Growing Food. Ponder a while. How do the farmers grow food? What kind of tools does a farmer use to grow crops? Can you make a model of a tool that is used for irrigation? Can we make different dishes out of just one grain? Earlier, when people did not have an idea about farming, they collected food from all around. As the time passed, people could reap crops, keep some grains as seeds, sow them, and get another crop. Later, they learned how to grow crops, when to grow crops, and the things required to grow crops. Growing food is one of the most important occupations in the world. A farmer grows food for us. Fact trivia: India is an agrarian country and more than 60% of population depends on agriculture for their livelihood. Tools for cultivating crops. Earlier, the tools which people used for cultivation required a lot of hard work and time. Over the years, several tools were developed for different farming activities and many of them are still being used today. Some of these tools are used manually, while some can be used with the help of animals like bullock and camels. The tools and implements used for agriculture practices are called agricultural implements. Some of the agricultural implements which are used manually by the farmers are as follows: trowel and harrow for weeding, seed drill for sowing, sprayers for spraying insecticides, levelers for leveling the field, sickle for harvesting. Harrow, sprayer, sickle, seed drill, trowel, leveler. Nowadays, many of the agricultural practices are done with machines and tractors that have reduced the labor and have increased the efficiency. Leveling, sowing, weeding, spraying. Agricultural practices and transportation. All the activities which are involved in cultivation of crops are called agricultural practices. Let's see how agricultural practices are implemented in the field and how do we get food. Preparation of soil. The first step of growing crops is preparing the soil. Soil is loosened and overturned with the help of iron or wooden plow or with the help of modern tractors. Sowing the seeds. Sowing is done by two methods. The first method is broadcasting, which means scattering seeds with the help of hands. The second method is to use seed drill for sowing seeds. The farmers prefer the second method for sowing because broadcasting leads to the unequal distribution of the seed in the field. After sowing the seeds, they are covered with loose soil. Weeding. The process of removing unwanted plants which restrict the growth of crops is called weeding. A trowel, khurpi, is used to remove weeds manually from the field. Weedicides are used to control the growth of weeds. Irrigation. Irrigation is done at regular intervals with the help of tube wells, canals, tanks and sprinklers. Tube wells and canals are common in North India. Tank irrigation is usually practiced in South India. In the western parts, sprinkle irrigation is common, which involves spraying of water on standing crops. Application of manure, fertilizers and pesticides. Farmers apply manure or fertilizers for conditioning of the soil. With the application of manure and fertilizers, the soil gets extra nutrients. As the seeds and crops grow, they are more prone to insects and pests. Therefore, insecticides and pesticides are used to keep the crops free from insects and pests. Harvesting. The process of cutting the crops and gathering ripened crops is known as harvesting. A crop must be harvested at the right time to obtain the maximum yield. It is done manually using a sickle. Harvesting is done by using machines called combine harvester in big farms. Threshing. The harvested crops are then threshed with the help of threshing machines, manually, or by using animals like bullocks and camels. Winnowing. The process of separating grain from chaff is called winnowing. Threshed grains are tossed into air to separate them from chaff. Storage. Dried grains are stored in containers or sacks. Tall towers used for storing grains are called silos. Fruits and vegetables are stored in cold storage. Transportation of food items. All the food items are loaded in trucks or trolleys and then sold in the wholesale market. Retailers buy food items from the wholesale markets and then sell them in the local markets from where we buy food items. Fact trivia: India is the second largest producer of rice in the world. India is the second largest producer of the rice in the world. Different dishes made from the same grain. We can make various dishes from just one grain. For example, black gram can be used to make sattu, kebab, chaat, fried gram, etc. Wheat can be used to make chapati, dalia, bread, biscuits, etc. Corn is used to make soup, chaat, chapati, popcorn, etc. Rice is used to make kheer, idli, dosa, etc. Vocabulary cards. Cultivation. The preparation and use of land for growing crops. The preparation and use of land for growing crops. Agricultural practices. The activities involved in cultivation of crops. Weedicides. The chemical used to control the growth of weeds. Silos. Tall towers used for storing grain.